Guys. Oh, you know what? I need my microphone. I didn't even think about it. Can you guys hear me? I mean, I'm loud enough. So let's go through. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Hi, Mike. How are you? Hi, Melissa. How are you doing? Hi, Calvin. Hello, hello. Hello, Susan. Welcome. How are you? Hi, Ivar. How are you doing? Let's see. Hi, Estrella. How are you doing? What's up, Cosmo? How are you? Have no fear. Hinch is here. What's up? How are you? And I think I might have seen Joey in there somewhere. And I'm sorry that I did not say hi yet. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you guys are doing pretty well. So, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Hello, Mod. Whoever's you are. Our mod tonight says from Channel 9, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please like, follow, share, and smash that bell. Go ahead and do that. We got Psychomantium 13, Roots Bleed Red, Psycho Bunny DC, Channel 9, choose your poison. So tonight, unfortunately, Hexus could not be here with me because remember how I was feeling like shit last week? Well, I passed it on. Hey, Nadine. Hi, Beth. How are you guys? I'm doing good. I'm doing much better. Unfortunately, I got Hexa sick. So it's me tonight. You guys just get me. I hope you're okay with that. Sharing is caring. Oh gosh, every time I hear that I think of sharing is caring and it can be fun. All right. Let's jump into this. So tonight we're discussing a few different murders and mysteries and disappearances and stuff like that. I do too. I really do too. He has gone through a lot the past couple weeks. It's been brutal. I mean, I'd say it's been brutal on us, but I just got the flu. I mean, he's had kidney issues, all kinds of stuff. Cosmo, I'm sorry. Iris, hi, welcome. All right, so let's jump into this one. So I've got some interesting ones compiled today. I'm going to butcher this name, and I don't mean to. So the murder of, you know what I should do? Hey, Shelby, how are you? So let's do this first. First off, you'll notice that I have a trigger warning up here. We're going to be talking about some fucked up shit tonight. So first, I'm going to start with, under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission, pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. Also, warning, the related content may be disturbing to some individuals, so viewer discretion is advised. We are going to be talking about murder, obviously disappearances, and possibly rape. So, but I think the rape is to a minimum on this conversation. So, hi Tia, how are you? Hello, I missed people. Love you too, Cosmo. Alrighty, let's do this. So we're going to talk about Katarzyna Zawada. So this was a female. She was 23 years old. This is a murder that occurred in the end of 1998 in Krakow, Poland, and I know I said that really wrong. She was, like I said, she was 23 years old and a student, and she was. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. She was attending Iolonian University. Iolonian University. I know. Hi. So investigators and experts from other countries were also called to assist in solving this crime, including the FBI. Police made the first arrest in 2017, 19 years later after discovering new evidence. As of September 2019, the suspect remains in custody while investigators continue to gather evidence. So the disappearance and discovery of the remains. In 1998, Katarzyna Zawada, who was born June 1st, 1975, and is assumed to have died on between December 7th and December 14th of 98. She began studying religion at that university that was located near Krakow. And according to friends, she was a nice, although sad and withdrawn person. She had suffered from depression since the death of her father in 96. And during her time at the university, she changed her field of study twice. After her first semester as a psychology student, she briefly attended some history courses before eventually settling on religious studies. Hey, Henry, how are you? I love it. I love it. You guys all rock, by the way, and I love you guys. So, oops, excuse me. I got hair in my face. Okay. So, as I said, she was very indecisive. She changed her major twice. She started with psychology, decided on history, and then decided on religious studies. So on November 12th of 1998, she was due to meet with her mother at a psychiatric clinic in Noa Huta, where she had been treated for her depression. She never made it to the appointment. Later that day, her mother attempted to file a missing persons report at the local police station, but was told wait because the statute of limitations, you guys know, usually they say 24 to 48 hours before you're allowed to say that somebody's missing. On January 6th, 1999, while on the Vistula, the crew of the Elk Pusher tug found a piece of evidence on the ship. After examination, it was discovered to be human skin. DNA tests indicated it belonged to Katarzyna. On January 14th, her right leg was recovered from the river. So this is where it's going to get a little bit gruesome, guys. So initially, it was just assumed that her body had been dumped in the body of water and destroyed by a propeller. However, when examining the body fragments, it was found that her skin had actually been removed, like you cape a deer. The skin was removed from the torso on purpose, and her head and her limbs had been cut off. The skin was prepared in such a way to possibly create a bodysuit, like Buffalo Bill. You know, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. That kind of shit. Yeah. And they assumed that the murderer was actually probably wearing the outfit. Yeah, that is it's pretty brutal, actually. Really brutal. So the investigation. In May of 99, the forensic medicine unit in Krakow received a corpse of a man with a severed and scalped head. The killer, Vladimir W., turned out to be the son of the victim, originally from Caucasus. Prior to the arrest, he was seen in a mask made of skin pulled from the head of his own father. Initially, he was suspected to have committed the murder of, let's say, Zawada, because her last name is a little bit harder or easier for me. Yeah, maybe beef jerky. Yep. Finding a random leg always puts a damper on Lake Day. It does indeed. Hey, Mikey! It puts the lotion in the basket. My voice cracked. Sorry. Yeah. This one's brutal. I told you guys it's really brutal. So they originally assumed that Zawada's murderer was this Vladimir W. They don't say his last name, which I'm probably happy for because it would be too hard for me to pronounce. But and that was because he was wearing his father's skinned face as a mask. But there was no evidence found to support it, so he was later just charged with his father's murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison. A few years after, he was transferred to a prison in Russia at his own request. A year later, the investigation was formally dropped because the perpetrator had not been discovered, but police officers involved in the case continued investigating credible leads. In 2012, thanks to advances in the field of forensic research and cooperation with experts, the prosecutor's office resumed the investigation. A team of officers from the X-Files, which was actually just the cold case unit, was brought in. The exhumation and additional autopsy of, I'm going to try to say her name, Katarzyna, her remains were actually ordered. Experts from the 3D Expertise Laboratory in Wrocław Wroclaw Medical University created a model of the injuries inflicted on her. They concluded that the attacker had used a sharp tool to wound his victim in her neck, armpit, and groin to inflict pain and cause her to bleed out. Guten Abend, meine Damen. I cannot, you know this. Hi, Sven. How are you? I hope you're doing all right. Hello, Star. How are you? Beautiful. Was David Duchovny the leader of the X-Files? I don't know. So it was like Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. No, they called it X-Files, but it was really Cold Case. Right. Wonder if it feels like someone kicking you. Oh, jeez. So no, it's not Katarina. That's actually not her name. Her name is actually Katarzyna. 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 So yeah. So they actually. Oh God, Henry. They actually created a model of the injuries that were inflicted on her. They concluded that the attacker had used a sharp tool to wound wound her in the neck, the armpit, and the groin, and cause her to bleed out. And in 2014, an FBI representative for Europe created a psychological profile of the suspect, pointing to his sadistic tendencies. In 2016, investigators consulted with the University of Coimbra Professor Duarte Nuno Vieira, a Portuguese specialist in forensics and a UN expert in the field of signs of torture on the human body. He confirmed that she was tortured before her death and that the perpetrator was actually probably trained in martial arts. Specifically one in particular, but they did not disclose what variation. So the arrest on October 14th, 2017, 19 years after the murder, police arrested 52-year-old Robert Jansweski in Krakow's Kazimierz district. Investigators searched his apartment and found blood in the bathroom. As a result, the bath and the frame were secured for further testing. He was a person of interest in 99, but he had not been arrested. So he fit the psychological profile as he was trained in martial arts. He knew the victim. He visited the victim's grave and had a history of harassing women. He had previously worked in a dissecting lab where he dealt with cadavers. He also worked at the Krakow Institute of Zoology, where he could observe the process of preparing animal skins. His employment was terminated the day he killed all of the Institute's rabbits during his shifts. When he was asked why, he couldn't even explain his actions. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the police detained him after a letter from the suspect's friend. The contents of the letter are closely guarded as a secret for the investigation. He was charged with aggravated murder with particular cruelty. He maintains that he did not actually kill Zawada. The Court of Appeal agreed to extend his detention until September 6th of 2019, while investigators gathered evidence. In December, he complained of harassment from the prison guards and claimed that the claims were investigated and found to be completely groundless. So as of September of 2019, he has not been released. And it has been requested that there is a closed trial. So yeah, that one's pretty brutal, right? Oops, I didn't mean to put that up. I am going to bring a couple things up here. So next we are going to actually talk about the murder that inspired the movie Jennifer's Body. Now, this is going to be something that we probably revisit, as I didn't find as much information as I would like to have found. But this is Elise Poehler. I guess I should say hi to everybody. Oh crap. Isn't that one of the multiple signs of becoming a serial killer? They call it sadistic. I call it effective. Okay. Oh my god, guys! Love you too, Jackal Demon. Yeah. Not wearing them tonight. I didn't bring the Wendigo out. But that's probably because I have my necromantic sigil. I'm able to hide them sometimes, guys. If you do a crime, you should do the time, right? Thank you so much. So now we're going to get into the murder of Elise Poehler. Again, I don't have a whole lot on her, but this murder is actually what inspired the movie Jennifer's Body. So, Elise Marie Poehler, born April 24th, 1980, and she died July 22nd, 1995. She was an American murder victim whose parents attempted to sue the band Slayer, saying that their music contributed to their daughter's death when she was murdered in the summer of 95. As you guys, well, you can't see it, but I have a Slayer poster back here, and I have Slayer lyrics on my back, and I have met the band, and they are very, very, very nice people. Oh, who requested the it was requested to be a closed case actually by the investigators and the government. That was in Poland. Yeah. I do like that movie. I've seen them probably about, I say 7 times, but it's probably more like 13 to be honest, if you count all the festivals. Fucking Slayer! Yep, that's ridiculous. Blaming Slayer. They didn't really say what song yet. So Elise Poehler was 15 years old. Her body was discovered near her home in Arroyo Grande, California in March of 96. She had been raped, and murdered there about 8 months earlier by acquaintances Jacob Deleschmutt, Joseph Fiorella, and Royce Casey. The perpetrators apparently returned to the corpse and had sex with it on several occasions. The body was located after Casey confessed the crime following his conversion to Christianity. All 3 eventually pled no contest to her murder and are now imprisoned and serving life in prison. Yeah, it's still the whole satanic panic thing. Trust me when I say us metalheads are honestly the nicest people in the world. Been listening to Slayer all my life. Killed just a few people. Just a few. Yeah, I hope they're being passed around by some big guy named Bubba right now. So, the trio lured her from her house with the stated intention of killing her as part of a satanic ritual. Although the crime bears many of the hallmarks of similar sexually motivated murders. In their defense, the defendants said that they needed to commit a sacrifice to the devil to give their heavy metal band hatred, the craziness, and the go professional. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a lawsuit. They're trying to say that the songs Postmortem and Dead Skin Mask from Rain and Blood and Seasons of the Abyss gave the three killers detailed instructions to stalk, rape, and torture and murder and commit acts of necrophilia. Well, if you know what any of these songs are about, they're actually about people who have already committed these things. So, yeah. The lawsuit was originally filed in 1996, but delayed to 2000 when the killer's trial was concluded. The initial case was originally thrown out, and the judge stated there is not a legal position that can be taken that would make Slayer responsible for the girl's death. Where do you draw the line? You might as well start looking through the library at every book on the shelf. Undeterred, they launched another lawsuit that Slayer knowingly distributed harmful material to minors. This case was also dismissed by the Judge E. Jeffrey Burke, stating, "I do not consider Slayer's music obscene, indecent, or harmful to minors." Jacob Dalishmet himself stated in a Washington Post interview, "The music is destructive, but that's not why Elise was murdered. She was murdered because Joe was obsessed with her and obsessed with killing her." So again, he placed all of the blame on the other guy, of course. And yes, kudos to that judge. Absolutely. I'm so sick of hearing this whole... It's all because of the fucking music. No, it's because your kids were probably latchkey kids and you didn't fucking teach them. You need to teach your kids right from wrong. And you know what? Sometimes, though, even if you do that, it doesn't work. But you can't blame music for it. Yeah, I know. I hate hobby Satanists. Said that. Yeah, they even blamed other musicians like Marilyn Manson before for this too. Ivar says, my God, if that was the case, then why are the parents allowing kids to purchase it? Yeah. This happened a lot in the 90s. Beavis and Butthead were blamed for kids setting fires. Bands were blamed for Columbine. Marilyn Manson was blamed for Columbine, in fact. Yes. Beth, I'm surprised they haven't blamed Michael Myers. Sven says, I bet Baby Shark leads to more murder than Slayer. Yeah. Great. Thanks for getting that stuck in my head. That's why we don't have the good cartoons anymore, right? Yeah. They blame musicians for all the dumbest things. No, I mean, they had already pled no contest at this point. There was no plea deal. But he was still like, oh, hey, Joe was obsessed with her and wanted to kill her. So we did it. But at least he said it had nothing to do with Slayer. Yeah. Yep, Eminem has been blamed for a lot of things too. Absolutely. So the aftermath. Royce Casey was denied parole by the governor here in California last year in July. Joseph Fiorella has a parole hearing tentatively scheduled for July of this year after voluntarily waiving his right to a hearing for 1 year. And Jacob Dalishmet has a parole hearing that's scheduled for December of 2024. Currently, Royce Casey is imprisoned in Valley State Prison. Joseph Fiorella is imprisoned in High Desert State Prison. And Jacob Dalishmet is incarcerated in the Correctional Training Facility. Eminem turned my milk bad. Watch out, you might throw up mom's spaghetti. So yeah, this was Elise Poller. Her story is what inspired Jennifer's Body. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. If I can find the commercial, because everything keeps getting moved around. All right. Well, I'll be right back. We're back! All right, so Mikey says, the person who made up the Baby Shark song, I hope they go step on a frickin' Lego. Jaws the Revenger is my shark character. He's playing Baby Shark. He's attacking people. Run! Just joking. He's playing my records backwards. Talk about creepy. Next thing that'll happen is either all music will be banned or we will be stuck listening to nursery rhymes. If you look up Baby Shark, it was a TV show. But even some of the nursery rhymes are too dark. Yeah. Let's see. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the baby or the cradle will fall. Really? And down will come baby, cradle and all? The fuck kind of shit is that? How is that supposed to put them to sleep? Or you got like Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up a hill, each with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Fucking whore. Oh, wait, I got the wrong one. Sorry. I forgot to say, oh! Yep, Ring Around the Rosie. What? Well, so Ring Around the Rosie was actually a bubonic plague song. It's Ring Around the Rosies. It's talking about the symptoms that you started to get. Pocket full of posies. Posies were supposed to help get rid of the smell. Ashes, ashes. You had to burn the body. We all fall down. That's why this country's going downhill. Yep. He was! And Wagner's pretty good, though. No. This is true. Pop goes the weasel. Listen to, yes. Hey, Charlotte. What's up? London Bridge. Yep. It actually fell. Yes. So now we're going to get into the disappearance of Brandon Swanson. This one is somewhat more recent. Sorry, I am having issues with my hair. There we go. There we go. So let's talk about Brandon Swanson. And let's show you a picture of him if I can. So here he is. Just a normal high school kid. He's actually younger than me by a few years. Shortly after midnight on May 14th, 2008, Brandon Swanson of Marshall, Minnesota, drove his car into a ditch on his way home from celebrating the end of spring semester with fellow students from Minnesota West Community and Technical College's Canby campus. Uninjured, he got out and called his parents on his cell phone. Unsure of his exact location, he told them he believed that he was near Lind and they drove out to pick him up. However, they were not able to locate him. Swanson remained on the phone with them until he went silent 47 minutes later after exclaiming, "Oh shit!" He has not been seen or heard from since. In the morning, his parents reported Swanson missing to the police, who advised them to wait as such behavior was not common for young men his age. That's so ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, hey, Chris, sorry. Yeah. Oh. Holy bats on a booby burger. If you play I Am Amazed backwards by Wings, it gives you a lentil recipe. There's a song by Tool that's a recipe for cookies. Anyway, let's go back to this. So after the phone went dead, the next morning, his parents tried to report him missing, but they were advised that such behavior was not common for young men his age and to wait. So later that day, the circumstances of his disappearance became more complicated when his cell phone records showed that he had been near Porter, which is 25 miles from where Swanson said he was, in a different direction. That information led to the discovery of his car near Taunton. It's not known whether Swanson was aware of this discrepancy when he talked to his parents. Foul play has not been ruled out, though. But it has been proposed that he might have accidentally fallen into the Yellow Medicine River near where his car was found and drowned, although extensive searches have not found his body. Land searches with dogs have continued in the area for several years, and his parents successfully lobbied the state legislature to pass Brandon's Law, which requires that the police begin investigations of missing adults promptly. Right? Not ominous at all. Hey, Matt! Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, oh shit, were his last words. Yeah, that's not ominous at all, right? Exactly. And so, let's go into the background. A native of Marshall, seat of Lyon County in the western Minnesota, Swanson graduated from Marshall High in 2007. He chose to study wind turbines for a year at Minnesota West Community and Technical College campus at Canby. Classes at Minnesota West ended for the academic year on May 13th, 2008, and Swanson stayed in Canby for the evening to celebrate with his friends. At two different parties, he was observed to consume a lot of some alcoholic beverages, but his friends said not enough to make him visibly intoxicated. So let's get into his disappearance. The Yellow Medicine River, I don't remember much about it, to be honest with you. My phone's unplugged. So Swanson left Canby for the 30-mile drive home before midnight. Just before 2 a.m., he called his parents on his cell, telling them that he had driven his Chevy Lumina off the road and into a ditch from which he could not remove the car. He was not hurt and asked them to come to where he was to pick him up. Annette and Brian Swanson got in their pickup truck and drove out to where they thought he was, keeping him on the phone despite the occasional hangups and drops. Brandon stayed with his car and tried to signal them by flashing the lights on and off, but they saw nothing, nor did he see anything. Brandon finally gave up and told him he was leaving the car to walk towards lights that he could see that led him to believe that he was near Lind, a town roughly 7 miles southwest of Marshall. He told his dad to head for the parking lot of a local bar and wait for him there. Brian began driving there, talking to his son as he did. Shortly after 2:30 a.m., 47 minutes into the call, Brandon suddenly interrupted himself on the phone and said, "Oh shit." And then he was silent for the remainder of the call until his parents actually hung up the phone and attempted to call back. And that was the last time anybody had seen or heard from him. I mean, I wouldn't swim in a yellow river. Yeah, I say oh shit whenever I've had an accident. Exactly. Hi, Tony. How are you? I do too. I do too. So the investigation. Hey. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. I'm not saying it was aliens, but aliens. Right? Never eat yellow snow. So at 6:30 a.m., his parents reported Brandon missing to the Lynn police. They were told at first that it was hardly unusual for a young man that age to stay out all night after the last day of college classes. Annette Swanson specifically recalled that one of the officers said it was Brandon's right to be missing. Later that morning, the Lynn police did start a search. But found no trace of Brandon in the town or outside. They requested that the office of Lyon County Sheriff Joel Dahl assist them to better focus the search. So the sheriff's office obtained Brandon's cell phone records, which revealed that Brandon had actually been calling from this vicinity of Taunton along State Highway 68, the main route to Canby, which was northwest of Marshall. It's 25 miles away from Lind. Searching in that area, they discovered his abandoned car in a ditch off of a gravel road along the Lincoln County line, mile north of the 68, bringing the office of the county sheriff, Jack Vizecki, into the investigation as well. He told the media that the Lumina had gotten hung up on the top of an incline at the edge of the road, not seriously enough to damage the car, but enough to keep the wheels from touching the ground on the side. There was nothing else found amiss with the car, and due to the grass and the gravel in the area surrounding it, there were no tracks, and thus no way to tell what direction Brandon might have started walking. His cell phone had been routed through a tower at the intersection of the county routes 3 and 10 near Minnesota. Minnesota Minneota in Minnesota. Yeah, that's horrifying. Absolutely. The creepy thing is we had in Canada someone do a video call with a cutter inside and their family witnessed them being murdered. Oh my God. There was one that I actually did witness, unfortunately, that got taken down pretty fast. Somebody went live and murdered someone. And I unfortunately saw that one. Yeah. I wonder if this was a 411. Kind of sounds like one in a way. Well, another town along highway. So Minneota is another town along Highway 68. By May 15th, the cell had been determined to have come from within 5 miles of the tower. Searchers were concentrating their efforts there. Since part of that circle included Yellow Medicine County to the north, the authorities from that jurisdiction also took part. So Dahl noted that from the area, the red light atop the Taunton grain elevator could be seen. He thought it was possible that the red light Brandon had seen led him to believe that Lind was within walking distance. Ground searches were being complemented with the flyover by aerial teams, search dogs. There was also that were brought in from the Twin Cities. A team of bloodhounds from nearby Cottington County, South Dakota, picked up a 3-mile scent trail that largely followed the field roads northwest to an abandoned farm, and then along the Yellow Medicine River to a point where it appeared to enter the stream. Brandon had mentioned passing fences and hearing nearby water, his father recalled. On the theory that Brandon might have drowned, boats from the state's Department of Natural Resources were deployed along the river, and gates were installed. In some areas in Lincoln County, the water had been 10 feet deep on the morning of the disappearance, but had gone down quite a bit since then. Deputies had also walked the river banks, and horses and all-terrain vehicles were deployed to the surrounding areas. However, Dahl ruled out a more organized, extensive ground search. So there were even later searches after the original search found no sign of him. Most efforts were discontinued. So Sheriff Vizecki continued to walk the 2 miles of the Yellow Medicine River in the area every day for 30 days. The Swansons left their porch light on all night, every night, as a symbol of their hope that Brandon would eventually return or be found. And they still do, actually. I don't think there's alligators in that area. This is in Minnesota. Searches resumed late that fall after fields planted shortly thereafter. The disappearance had been after the fields had been planted shortly after the disappearance had been harvested. Dogs on the searches continue to follow the scent of human remains into an area northwest of Porter that had not been searched earlier. Efforts picked up again in the spring after snow melted, but before planting, and a cycle that continued through 2011. By that time, 122 square miles had been searched. In 2010, the Minnesota Bureau of Crime Apprehension took over as lead agency in the case, set up a tip line. By 2015, 90 leads had been reported that way. By that point, when official searches resumed, the area of interest had moved towards Mud Creek, a tributary of the Yellow Medicine River, north and northwest of Porter. That's possible. Definitely. That is very possible. I don't really know the area very well, to be honest with you, but there's probably cats, big cats. So there's theories here. While the trail followed by one of the dogs went to the Yellow Medicine, despite her son's last known words, Annette Swanson does not think he drowned. After following the scent of the water, the dog continued up and across the other side and along the riverbank to another gravel road, where it continued north towards Yellow Medicine County line and ended. There really is nothing to indicate that he's in the river, she told CNN. Brian Swanson also recalls that any alcohol his son had consumed earlier in the evening, notwithstanding, he did not seem disoriented or confused during the phone conversation. If Swanson is still alive, there are other possibilities, although they appear remote. He could have intentionally disappeared, but his parents don't believe he would have done that. Vizecki said he could not rule out foul play, even though there's no evidence of it. Someone could have been in the shadows. They could have got him. They don't really know. Yeah, that's unusual. If he drowned, the body didn't show up downstream pretty soon after the disappearance. So, exactly. What city or what state? I'm curious. You don't have to, but I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm not saying aliens, but aliens. So, Brandon's Law is a bill that they got passed saying that, basically she said, Annette Swanson said, I'm his mother and I knew something was horribly wrong. But the law was saying that I couldn't report it. And so the law now requires for them to actually start looking in Wisconsin as soon as they're reported missing. It does sound very similar to the missing 411, especially if a body eventually shows up in a place that they've already searched. They still have yet to find him. There's literally no indication of him still to this day. So I am going to get into the last one, and this one's kind of a sad one. So I would like to mention, guys, and this is going to talk about suicide. This is the Annandale Jane Doe. So again, I'd like you to read the scrolling across the bottom. If you guys are feeling depressed or feeling like you don't want to be here anymore, there are people to talk to. You're more than welcome to reach out to me to chat. I'm always available to chat. And if I can't, I'll tell you I can't. But I won't be rude about it. And I'm always willing to listen, at least try to, if I'm not working, you know. But there's numbers that you can call 1-800-273-8255, or you can text home to 741-741, and they will talk to you. So yeah, so we're going to get into a yeah, I've always thought that the 48-hour wait was completely silly and counterproductive. I mean, because within the first 48 hours is when somebody is usually murdered. And after 48 hours, their chance of being found diminishes immensely. So it's completely ridiculous. Tony, you can always reach out to me. You know you can. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of us. Feel free to. And yes. So we are going to talk about this woman right here. This is a composite sketch based off of, they did find her body, but I'm not going to show you that picture because there is a post-mortem picture. But they don't know her name. And 25 years later, they still don't know who this person is. So, in the early hours of December 18th, 1996, a woman entered the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park in Annandale, Virginia, and placed a plastic sheet on the ground. The spot she chose was called Babyland, a section of the cemetery where infants were laid to rest. Most of the headstones were recent, and she was not near any specific grave. She proceeded to place an 8-inch Christmas tree beside her, and it was adorned with gold balls and red ribbons. The woman connected her headphones to a portable tape player and put on Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner 2,000-year-old man comedy routine. I mean, that's kind of a strange thing to put on when you're that depressed, but oh no, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe she's trying to cheer herself up. Ivar also says that he is always available. There we go. So, it was 9 a.m. when a groundskeeper stumbled upon the woman. At first, they assumed that she was sleeping, but they soon realized that she was not sleeping. She had passed. The authorities arrived 40 minutes later, and her body was still warm. It was determined that she had died by suicide a few hours prior. The woman had placed a plastic bag over her head and tied it off with tape and suffocated herself. I'm going to see if I can show you guys the tree. So this was the little tree that she had next to her with the little decorations and everything. It was a beautiful little tree. You don't need to say any names. It's okay. So, the mysterious woman actually did leave behind a suicide note as well. And Okay, it's hard to read, and I'm sorry. But what it says is, so she asked that an autopsy not be performed and requested a cremation. Inside an envelope was two $50 bills, which she specified where to cover the expenses, one for the coroner and the other for the cemetery. It says, deceased by my own hand, prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation with funds provided. Thank you. Jane Doe. That's what we're going to get to here. She's the close into the suicide note on who they were leaving it to. It seems hard to fathom that someone would be able to suffocate themselves this way before your lizard brain would step in. So one of my best, good friends, I'm not going to say he's my best friend, but a really good friend of mine killed himself in that manner. And I can't grasp it. I haven't been able to grasp that. I mean, he was such a cool guy too. All of it, I just can't grasp any of it, to be honest with you. So, as stated in her note and corroborated by coroner, she had ingested brandy and Valium. Her blood alcohol level was 0.14. She was a white woman who was likely between the ages of 50 and 70 at the time of her death. She was approximately 5 feet tall and 157 pounds. Her hair was curly and it was like a red auburn, almost a copper color. She had an 8-inch vertical scar on the middle of her abdomen, possibly from a C-section. The majority of her clothes were classique items: a navy blue cardigan sweater, a red sweater, a red sleeveless silk shirt, a navy blue wool knit pants. She wore a teal Eddie Bauer jacket, knee-high stockings, a white sports bra, Fruit of the Loom, and black loafers. And this is in Annandale. So this is in Virginia. This is in Annandale, Virginia. Yeah. So those clothes, whoops. I wonder if it'll let me do this. I have some stuff to show y'all. There we go. Okay. Those clothes likely came from upscale store like Saks Fifth Avenue. In regards to jewelry, she had a gold Guess watch, a 14-karat gold ring with 4 jade stones. She also had a metal bead chain with a metallic alert pendant engraved with no code DNR, no penicillin. She wore bifocals with translucent frames. Here's all the stuff that was with her. The woman had a few other items inside a green knapsack: a Jeff Foxworthy's "You Might Be a Redneck If" cassette, and a Monty Python and the Holy Grail tape, along with 2 empty juice bottles and a new roll of masking tape. Authorities tried to identify the woman to no avail. Fingerprints and missing persons reports were of no help. They tried distributing a drawing of her face in hopes that somebody would recognize her, but nobody has come forward with information. Over 600 women have been ruled out. As per her wishes, the unidentified woman was cremated. The Fairfax County Police Department didn't want to put her ashes in the property room as if they were a piece of evidence. So instead, the box with her ashes is on a shelf in the cold case office. Investigators believe there is someone out there looking for her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made such an effort to die anonymously. And again, this is the Annandale Jane Doe. That's a sketch of her. I mean, heck, if anybody watching, I doubt it, but if anybody watching knows who this is, this could have been your grandma, But we don't know why she did what she did, but I feel sad for her. And may she rest in peace. So he's not feeling well. I had the flu last week and I accidentally gave it to him. So Beth says, I don't understand why my sister's best friend did it. And then a week later, the kid lost their father and we all had to go do a double. Oh my God. Yeah, it's really sad. I know I need to tell a funny story at the end. Oh gosh. Okay, let's find something. Cause yeah, that one was really sad. Yeah, he fell down the stairs, guys. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Let's look something up. Florida man, worst superhero ever. There is, and I'm not joking, a Florida Man, the epic adult coloring book. And now that I know that this exists, I must have this in my life. Let's see if it'll... it won't let me show the picture. But there is now... Let's go to smokinggun.com. Let's do that. That'll work. Let's do that. Actually, I'm on floridaman.com. Lee County Sheriff's Department. You're going to love this one, guys. Ready? This guy right here. Naked Florida man humps tree, punches deputy. A Florida man was arrested after doing a very Florida man thing, including humping a tree and running down the street in the nude. 21-year-old Alonzo Sanchez was found by deputies and was seen hugging and hip thrusting a tree. He was completely naked and allegedly high at the time. Before deputies got to him, the Florida man ran into the street and was nearly hit by a car that had to swerve to avoid him. When the deputies attempted to arrest Sanchez, he punched one of them in the face. After a brief struggle, he was apprehended and taken to... Oh, come on. Lehigh Acres Regional Hospital. He faces a battery charge and was booked into the Lee County Jail after his hospital visit. There we go. There we go, tree humpers. We will end this with the tree humpers. Right? Don't look, Ethel! Poor tree. Never fails. Never fails. So, on the happier note, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Joining me tonight. We will be back as Roots Bleed Red on Friday, hopefully, if Hexus is feeling better. If not, it'll be me again. I do believe Mother de la Mort will be on Thursday. Hi! You missed it! Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But yes, I do believe Mother de la Mort is going to be on Thursday. And thank you so much, Nadine. And Akka Chit Chat should be on Wednesday. And then, of course, there's more Roots Bleed Red. Oh, actually, it's Channel 9 Eaton on Sunday. And we will go from there. Mikey, I'm not sure if you are going live. Let me know. But yes, okay. So yes, Mother de la Mort will be live. Everybody is saying Hexus feel better. I gave him some melatonin. Hopefully he's knocked out right now. And I'm going to go find some food for myself. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
I don't know, set the world on fire. I don't know, a baby.